great adventure awaits you.
Hey everybody, I am back. It's been a hot minute. Welcome back to One Woman Table, everybody. I am the dreaded DM, or Dread, or Caitlin, whatever your preference may be. But I'm so excited to be back. Sorry I missed last week. I think the one thing that I can count on at this time is that I'm consistently inconsistent. It seems I miss at least 1 week in a month, but that's okay. Hopefully that'll stop soon once I try. I promise I'm ready. I am happy and ready to be back here. First things first. I said in the last stream that the previous streams would be up, and they are not. And I'm sorry for that. Truly, there's no real excuse, except I wanted to edit them. I really like editing. I really like video editing. I'm not particularly good at it, and I saw editing these streams as a way to improve. I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed messing around with some settings and with some editing tricks that I hadn't used in a really long time. I'm really excited for everybody to see them. They are finished. They're just not uploaded yet. So keep an eye out on the VOD channel. I'm going to attempt to upload these tonight, right after this stream. Hopefully by the time you wake up tomorrow morning, they'll be there and you guys can catch up on what happened. Because I know I did. My God. I hate my voice. I hate my voice so much. Prime example. There was one stream. It was about 2 hours and 36 minutes. That's how long the stream was. 2 hours and 36 minutes. I cut out at least 30 minutes of me saying but or some combination of that. And I also seem to glitch out a lot. I just kind of stop and stare, but I stay in the exact same position. Just an interesting thing that I noticed about myself. So if there is anyone new here, know that I say and but and but and. I say and a lot. I say that frequently. It seems I will never stop. Send help, please. But that is not what you all are here for. You are here because it is part 2 of Tyrant of Zhentil Keep, my D&D 5e solo play. And it's already pretty spicy, I'm not gonna lie. Last time, my character, a Way of Mercy monk named Sora Peagreen, was basically a Green Day song. She was walking through a lonely road. She didn't know where it went, but it was only her and she walked alone. Her shadow's only one that walked beside her. I wonder if that'll count as a copyright strike. I hope not. After running away from the town of Oralbar, she traveled across a great desert, which the name is escaping me, almost died, but a half-orc caravan rescued her and gave her water and supplies and told her about unrest that was happening back in their country and how there seemed to be a lot of oppression and corruption and intrigue, and the word Zentarum, along with the name Monsoon, was mentioned quite frequently. She was advised to maybe not go there. She decided to keep on going. She eventually crossed into the country, which contained the Moon Sea, inland ocean, they call it? Inland sea? Yes, it was an inland sea. Apparently, very, very beautiful country. There was more and more evidence that while this was a beautiful country, the people were downtrodden and browbeaten, I believe, was one of the words used. Eventually, Sora was advised to go to the city of Zhentil Keep. She said, sick as hell, let's go. As soon as she arrived in the city, she was warned not to make trouble. And she said, I would never. I'm a good girl. She's not, never has been, but they don't know that. At least they didn't know that until very quickly. About, let's say 10 to 15 minutes later, Sora went to the main street, the main square, and she was about to go into a tavern when she heard a preacher, essentially a priest. She got curious and went over, and it turns out this priest had some disturbingly racist ideals. He was claiming that orcs had murdered a high-ranking official, that they were marching on the citadel of the Raven, and that they were going to slaughter everybody in their homes. A female orc stood up and said, this is all lies. This is propaganda propagated by the Zhentarim. And she was immediately, like, beaten down. Like, she was rendered unconscious very quickly. While the thought of not doing anything crossed Sora's mind, it also felt very wrong to not do anything. So she got into a fight with 2 guards. She was able to bring 1 guard down, but for rules reasons, she stopped fighting. I'm going with it was because she used her hand of harm for the first time, and it tired her out, essentially. And she was arrested immediately, because of course she was. Why wouldn't she be? She caused a full fight. And she was taken to prison. And we left her getting booted in the back and being shoved into a cell. So we'll take off from there. Very important that I keep hydrated. And don't worry, guys. I remember what thing we were on. I'm proud of myself, at least. And we ended on the cell door shuts and is locked behind me. Who's ready for some prison riots and or jailbreaks? Both would be great, but after I sleep. I passed the night very uncomfortably on the stone floor of the cell. Down the corridor, horrific, tortured screams echo, and the sound of iron doors slamming and boots marching keeps me awake most of the night. Fantastic. My belongings are gone, including my weapons. They all have been stripped from me. As for the female orc, only the gods know what became of her. Still, I manage to grab some sleep in small snatches. I recover 1 hit die. Sick as hell. So they must be using different rules. I realize I've been very lax in my duty. One of the reasons I started doing this stream was to help people learn about the systems that I'm using, and I have not been doing that with D&D. Simply because it's a fair bet if people are watching this stream, they either have a vague idea of how D&D works, or on the flip side, they have no idea and they just kind of came across this accidentally. If you're one of those people, welcome. Like I said, one of my goals for doing this stream is to teach people about the systems that I play. So for anyone who doesn't know, whenever you take a short rest, and in some cases, it seems, when you take a long rest, it depends entirely on your DM, you roll something called hit die, and that restores your health, your HP. When you take a long rest, I guess because I've been having a bad sleep, I don't get the long rest, so I don't get my hit points back. I don't get all of my hit points back as I normally would. Instead, I only get 1 hit die. The amount of hit die you can roll and the amount of hit die that you get depends entirely on what class you are and what level you are. So for me, because I'm level 3, I get 3 die. But because I am a monk, I get 3d8. 1d8. Nice! I get 8. Things ain't so bad after all. Just before dawn, I hear it. A key turning in the lock. I sit up in time to see the cell door swing quietly inward. And dressed there is a lone elven guard, dressed in the livery of the Zhentilar. But something about his face. He wears no expression of malice or suspicion, rather a look of urgent desperation. "Come, traveler, quickly," he whispers, beckoning to me. "It's all right, I'm a friend. Come quickly." Having nothing to lose, I stand and go with him. Okay, I take issue with that. My immediate thought was, I want an insight check right now. I want to see if this dude is legit, because this is too good to be true. They're just letting me. Someone's just breaking me out for real. This is what I wanted, but it feels too easy. The elven warrior leads you out into the corridor, down to its end, and then up some stairs and into an alleyway. "Let's go," he hisses, hand on his sword, as his eyes scan every nook and cranny. The mysterious stranger leads me through a maze of twisting and turning alleyways, always glancing behind to check if you are being followed. As we dash through this urban labyrinth, my savior draws a dagger, keeping a close watch on his surroundings. Dawn is just breaking in the sky overhead. "They'll have discovered your escape by now," he says, and chuckles to himself. "They'll have no clue, fools. Still, they don't know your value to us." Who the fuck is that?
But there are other traps you need to know about.
You know, you look like you could use a friend.
Say no to what you think is wrong.
"I don't know you." Elven stranger leads me deep into the labyrinth of tangled streets and endlessly twisting alleyways. Suddenly he stops dead in his tracks, putting a fist in the air. What? I freeze. He waits, holding his dagger at his side. "Quiet now," he says, and waits for a long moment, listening, watching, making absolutely sure we haven't been followed. Finally, after what seems like an age, he moves forward towards a door at the end of the alley, motioning for me to follow. I arrive at an unassuming wooden door on the side of a building. The stranger pushes it open, ushers me inside, then steps through himself, shutting it behind. I am in total darkness, and just as I begin to fear for my life and suspect that I am the victim of some hideous, deadly trap, a flame bursts from the darkness. 1, 2, 3, shedding light across the room and illuminating faces. Seated around a table are 6 old men in hooded robes. By their bearing and the scars they wear, you know these are warriors, veterans. "Welcome, traveler," one of them says. "Come, be seated." The 6 old men and the young warrior who brought me here all sit around the table, faces lit by the shimmering light of the candles. "Welcome, traveler," one of them says. "No doubt you are wondering why you are here. First, let me introduce myself. My name is Huan Falconhand, and I am the leader of this little band. We are the Knights of Myth Draenor." Another of the old men pipes up. "Well, not the Knights of Myth." "Shut up, Addy!" He shakes his hand, turning back to you. "No, of course we are not the entirety of the Knights of Myth Draenor. What we are is a small cell, placed here in Zhentil Keep, so that we might be useful in our old age. We sheathed our swords long ago, but still we watch, and we keep an eye on Manchun and his evil doings. And those are many. The guts of it, my friend," another chimes, "is that we have been watching you. We need one such as yourself. As you can see, we are well past our prime. Not only that, but no knight of Myth Draenor, even a young one, could complete the task we require of you, as there is a danger that a native of the Moon Sea would be recognized by the Zendara." Ewan cuts back in. "Ellis is right," he says. "Perhaps you have seen the discrimination that is currently being shown towards orcs, and heard the stories perchance of an orc horde marching on the citadel of the Raven." "It's all nonsense!" another old-timer exclaims. "Complete falsehood," Ellis agrees. "Utter codswallop," another one adds. "The rumour goes," Ewan continues patiently, "that Galanter Hawkhelm, the captain of the guard at the citadel, was assassinated by orc spies who somehow infiltrated the citadel. Well, we know that's a falsehood because the citadel is practically impenetrable by a force of any size. Besides that, what motive would the Thar orcs have to invade the citadel? It poses no strategic advantage for them. Their own lands are well defended and they have no designs over the Moon Sea. No. It is a ruse. All of it. The Black Network are experts at this sort of scaremongering. The real truth, Ewan continues, is that Manchun had Galantor Hawkhelm assassinated by his Zentarum spies. Hawkhelm was elected by all the Moonsea cities to serve as commander of the Citadel, protecting the Moonsea from invaders. But it is known that he is defiant towards Manchun. For this reason, Manchun wanted him dead. Now he is, and soon the Zentarum will have full control of the Citadel. Once they do, Manchun will dominate these lands. It is rumored that there is a network of tunnels that originates from in the Dragon Spine Mountains and leads right under the Citadel. Zhentil, the founder of this city, had the tunnels constructed to serve as an escape from the Citadel in times of siege. We have only ever suspected these tunnels existed, but now we know they must exist, and now the Zentarum have found them. Or perhaps they knew the tunnels were there all along. This is the only way into the Citadel, other than through its gates. The only way the Zentarum could have gotten in there to assassinate Hawkhelm. Unless they teleported in, one old knight suggests. No, there's a teleport cage around the Citadel. The Citadel is ancient, full of mysteries. No one can teleport in. Once inside, yes, magic can be used, but no one can teleport past those walls. Ewan looks at me expectantly, with a glimmer of hope in his clear blue eyes. We need you to follow these tunnels inside the Citadel. Once there, to kill the Zentarum spies that have infiltrated the city. They must be holding the men there hostage, or they may be hiding in plain sight. You will be rewarded, Illis chimes in. King Azun will see to that. We have already discussed the matter with him. He, like all of us, desires to thwart Manchun's plans. Here is a token of his goodwill. Teodric places a pouch into my hand. A heavy pouch. 800 gold, he says, and another 800 once the job's done. I'ma just say, I was offered 2,000 gold to rescue a boy, and that was it. This job, I've had better paying jobs for doing less. Ewan continues, if you cannot find the entrance to the tunnels, continue to the Citadel. There is a small chance you can get in, over or under the walls, concealed in a cart perhaps. I don't know how, but you look like a cunning sort. Once you are inside, you must find a knight called Sir Stevel Skirnd, a purple dragon knight, and tell him exactly what we have told you. But if you can, try your utmost to find the tunnel entrance. We must destroy that entrance so that no more Zentarum can infiltrate the Citadel. Ewan sighs as if exhausted by the telling of this story. For real, dude, I'm exhausted reading it. So, what say you, traveler? Are you willing to take up our quest? See, I don't know who Manchun is. I was taken to this entry because it assumed maybe I had done more to earn my spot in prison, but I really hadn't. And honestly, I was rescued extremely quickly, so I have truly no idea about the inner workings of the Moonsea. Well, he just did a pretty good job explaining it to me, but, you know, I take issue. Yes, Chaos Blade, the names are stupid. And it's made me sad that once again, everybody who plays any kind of fantasy D&D, fantasy TTRPG, I should say, refuse to have names that are somewhat pronounceable. It is like one of the big things I hate about playing these games, which is why whenever I make characters, I always choose simple names, like Sora, or one of the characters I made for another game was, what was her name? I actually can't talk about a lot of the characters that I have at the moment because they might be used in upcoming projects, but more often than not, I choose names that are very simple for everybody to say, because I don't want to mess around and try to figure out how to pronounce skirnd. And maybe I feel like I might be insulting somebody. I don't mean to insult anybody, but come on. Make names accessible, please. Or at least have some sort of phonetic for how to pronounce it. That would be nice. I'm going to take the quest because, well, am I? They rescued me because here's the thing. I'm kind of upset that they rescued me when, honestly, they should have rescued that female orc. She was the one who inspired me to fight. And they just left her. Why? And they've just kind of assumed I will help. I'm in two minds about it. That's what it is, really. And yeah, I just got this huge lore dump and I don't know. I mean, they already gave me the gold too. I would feel bad. And it is clear that the people of this place, especially the orcs, are being downtrodden, and these, as far as I'm aware, these guys are fighting against that. Despite my misgivings about the methods and their ways, I will go along with it for now. Even though, well, don't feel good. Doesn't feel great to me. It doesn't feel great to me. And I don't know if it feels great because this is how Sora feels, or this is how me Dread feels. And like, it's the nature of these types of games in a lot of ways, right? They have to be a bit railroady, but it feels like I was railroaded so hard. So hard. Like, I've just been dropped all this information, and yeah, so Sora's like, you didn't help the person who actually stood up. And honestly, I don't quite trust this guy. So I'm actually gonna say no. No, I'm not gonna accept this quest. I'm also intrigued to see how this path goes. How will they convince me to join this quest? My reaction is met with visible disappointment. Oh, I should roleplay what I say. Don't get me wrong. I commend your fight, and I commend that you are willing to try to change things. But the fact is, I am not the person. Oh, wait, hold on. I'm just after reading this. Go to map entry 1. If you do not accept the knight's quest, you may spend the day in Zhentil Keep, visiting various locations and completing side quests, after which this adventure will come to a close. That sounds dumb as hell, so they're just kind of like, nah. Be railroaded. Okay. Like I know I was being obstinate. I know that. Yeah, can't change the plot hook on the fly. That's it, right? But it's such a hard railroad. Like, am I crazy? Is that like, and I've kind of lost where I'm meant to be. But I need to find the hot guy, because I mentioned him, and there he is. There's the hot guy.
You know, you look like you could use a friend.
Oh, he did introduce himself. I have no memory of him introducing himself. That's the other thing. Did I just miss a line? I feel like I missed a line, because I don't remember hearing that this elven knight's name was Teodric. Though I do like when one of the guys is like, oh, we're not the actual knights. And the head man is like, dude, shut up. Like, okay, fine, we're not the real one, but, you know, we're basically, it's basically the same thing. I'm so confused. What the hell? It's another, I have the common themes in these streams is I get lost constantly, despite all the help given to me. One of the big draws of this, I'm being very critical of this adventure tonight, but one of the big draws of this adventure is the clickable, the hyperlinks or whatever they're called to get to each entry. That's great. We rewind. Sora becomes a slightly different person, less critical. Though, to be fair, she did want to help. She just felt weird about it. She says, I truly have no idea what is going on. I truly don't even know who this Manchun is, and honestly, I'm not quite sure if I will be of any help, but I am willing to try. Huan's face lights up with a broad smile, as do the faces of all the other old men at the table. Excellent, he says, standing and embracing me warmly. Okay, no, I didn't ask. I can't tell you what this means to us, friend. You will be rewarded. But beyond that, you will always have friends in the Knights of Mithranor, and you will have saved the Moonsea from tyranny. I forgot. They had taken my quarterstaff and 500 gold, because those were the only two things I owned. So I get those back, and that's nice. Go now, Huan says, placing a hand on my shoulder. Spend the day here if you wish, and purchase whatever you need for your journey. But leave on the morrow, and do not delay any longer. At dawn tomorrow, leave the city. A mile from the gates, Teodric, he indicates the knight who led me here, will meet you with a horse and guide you to the foot of the dragon spines, about 30 miles ride. After that, you're on your own. One of the knights, a very old character who looks more like a mage than a fighter, also approaches with a blue bottle. To heal your wounds, he says in a quiet voice. I fear you will need it, young adventurer. Thanks, old man. After exchanging final words and receiving their blessings, I leave through the low door and emerge in the alleyway. I walk quickly, finding my way back out into the street, reeling from what I have been thrust into the middle of. Truly so hard thrust. But I cannot help feeling this quest is vitally important. Zhentil Keep is waking up and opening up, and businesses are opening for trade. I unroll the map of Zhentil Keep that the knights gave to me and survey the various places that I could visit. Cool. Okay, so we got a couple of different streets here. The market square where I fully killed a guy. I should probably avoid there for a bit. Scimitar Street, Amantor Temple. Definitely need to stay away from there. Well, Amantor. Amantor is the name of the god that the Death Knight seemed to be involved with somehow. And there's an inn. Okay, I think, first off, I'm going to be clear. Staying away from the Grand Temple of Bane. That seems like where the priest that doesn't probably knows my face, that's probably where he's hanging out. So I'm not going to go there. But I do want to go to this Amantor Temple. Raven! Oh, geez, you're back. Haven't seen you around the stream in a while. Have you been? Yeah, no, I missed last week, but I've been around. Perfect. Good to hear it. Also, Scimitar Street. I have a +1 quarterstaff already. If I could I could use some sort of ranged weapon. I don't have any kind of ranged weapon. And Arcana Lane sounds like a place where I could potentially get some more healing potions. And I'm going to need just rations and stuff in general. After the disastrous invasion of the Orc and Ogre Horde and the scorching of Dragonfire that destroyed Zhentil Keep nearly 50 years ago, we built this fair city out of the rubble and ruins of old. Some of the destruction is still visible in the South City to remind us of those horrible times. So that's the excuse these priests are using. Because there were orcs in the war that destroyed the city, that's why they're racist. Not a good reason. There's the barracks. I can't visit, but it is marked. Good to know. Amantor Temple. Not everyone is as enlightened as the Zents. This temple to the minor sun god and other gods in the Faerun pantheon is mainly placed here for outlanders, presided over by the presided over by Elder the Pious, novice priest, formerly of Waterdeep. First things first. Let's go to Amantor Temple. Listen. Yes, I stayed in a prison, but it was for a very good cause. They were being a racist, and they had beat up an orc for no reason, And I said that wasn't cool. And then I killed one of them. It was a valid reason on both sides. The reason I'm going to this temple is because... So in the previous adventure, the Death Knight Squire, my character Sora, she encountered an undead knight, and it seemed he was heavily connected to the god Amantar, and Sora doesn't know anything about that, but she does remember that for some this guy was used to be involved with this god somehow, so she would like to take a look. The Amantor Temple is tucked away in the northwestern area of Zhentil Keep behind the artisans' workshops, in a semi-industrial area unlike the Black Altar, which sits among the main clerical region of the city. As I walk toward it, I see many different races and peoples from all over Faerun, but not many Zents. It seems Bane is the deity of choice in this city, and given that Amantor is Bane's mortal enemy, you can't help but think this temple is a token gesture. Amantor's face, a radiant sun, is positioned right over the main entrance. You enter the cool interior, and the heady smell of incense envelops you. There is a fountain set in the middle of the main temple, which provides a soft, watery background noise for the worshippers who sit peacefully around the temple room floor, contemplating the large Amantor idol which graces the altar. A priest rings a bell as he chants an ethereal prayer and presents foodstuffs to the idol. In alcoves around the wall are the other smaller idols, representing other deities of Faerun. Ilmater, god of endurance; Torm, god of courage; Tyr, god of justice; Shanti, goddess of agriculture. The list goes on and on. This appears to be a catch-all for worshippers of any deity that isn't Bane. Glancing around the worshippers, you see that this could be a chance to gain some valuable information. There are all sorts of individuals here. Or perhaps I could use my time to pray for some boon from Amantor. Nah, I'm good. I don't want to pray. I could talk to the priest. Or I could go talk to the elves. I'm going to go talk to the elves. I approach the elves and attempt to engage them in conversation, but they look slightly suspicious of me. It's fair. It's very fair, actually. Make a performance check. Why performance? Is my performance in it? My performance is alright. It's the same as my persuasion, so. 16. It was on DC 11. Sick as hell. I am just a chill halfling monk. What could I do? The elves, one female and one male, engage me in conversation. They don't appear to know much that is useful to me, but are certainly friendly enough. The female elf introduces herself as Salian. She tells you that the main elven settlement in the Moonsea area is Elventree, which is near the forest of Cormanthor. Both these elves are from there. Mithranor is also nearby, and there are many elves within the ranks of the Knights of Mithranor, who are, according to these two, the Moonsea's best hope of freedom. That's crazy. I just met them like an hour ago. I noticed that Salihan says this last statement with quite some amount of passion. Nah. I don't think she would poke too much. Like, it is enough now that she knows who exactly the Knights of Mithranor were. When they rescued me from prison and talked me into doing a quest, they just kind of assumed I knew who they were. But I did not. So this was a very good... just a little bit more context is nice. But they could perhaps give me more context. I would like more context. Maybe she is part of the Knights. That would be great. And maybe she does know, like, a little bit about, like, the Dragonspire Mountains. Because I need to go there. What brings me here? She asks. Oh, that you are perhaps better off not knowing. Besides, I've only just met you. How do I know I can trust you? I sit down next to them. You can tell me. You can trust me.
Rule number 1, never trust anybody.
She looks down at me for a long time, holding my gaze, as if peering into my soul. Very well, she says. My name is Salahin Alastil. I come on a mission from Elventree on the south shore of the Moon Sea. She pauses here, sighing. My mother is the warden of Elventree, and her name is Alanil Alasti. Even though we are peaceful folk, we are still not hidden enough to escape the prying eyes of the powers that be. Zul Kembril, High Priest of Bane, came to Elventree some weeks ago, looking to court my mother's favor, to see if the elves would back Monsoon if there ever was a war to come. She denied him, saying that the elves there wanted no part of Monsoon's plans, so he left and seemed to accept her decision. But later on that night, he had one of his minions, a Zhentil's spy, creep in and steal a precious artifact. The wand of the elven mage. This is a treasured wand that has been in the Celestial family for generations and is very powerful. He means to use it in some war that is coming, and by doing so will stain our family's legacy forever. And so, I'm here to retrieve it. And I have a friend. We are going to break into Fazul's tower and retrieve the wand.
Boy, that escalated quickly.
See, I just broke out of jail. And now they want me to break in to the High Priest's tower. While that does sound like fun, and it would bung up Monsoon's plans, and perhaps give me a better idea of how this whole operation works. When did she say she was going to do it? Is she going? Is it like are they like going tonight? It doesn't say that they're going tonight. Yeah, I'll be fine. Yeah, this is all good. This is all good and fine. Sure. Yeah, let's break into a tower. I'm saying yes to all the quests anyway. Might as well. Salahin is taken aback by my offer of assistance. Well, I won't say no. We could be killed, you know, and I don't have anything to pay you with. But you will be keeping power out of the hands of Monsoon, so that's something. Think on it, Salahin says. If you still want to help, meet us at the East Bridge, North End, 4 hours after dusk. Now I have a code word. Wand quest. Never had a code word. And they said I could get gear. Not going to there. I do want to go to Scimitar Street. Guys, it's gear up time. As soon as I slowly click my way through all of these, the street is populated by adventurers of all races and all manner of characters. Street vendors hawk food to passers-by and beggars beg for money, jangling metal cups as I pass by. Ahead I see a patrol of Zhentil soldiers, and I stop, turning my back to them, pretending to examine the jewelry laid out by a street hawker. Yes, I do like jewelry. You decide it is probably best to not have my face seen about too much. Eventually they pass, and I continue past smiths, armorers, and weapons shops of all descriptions. Several look promising to my experienced eye. Okay, so Gunther's general supplies. Armor wouldn't really serve me. I have unarmored defense. Or is it unarmored movement? Yeah, no, I have an unarmored defense. Gunther's general supplies is a busy establishment. Humans, Zhentil and civilians rub shoulders with adventurers and townsfolk of all races. The harried staff dash to and fro between the many aisles and dark wooden shelves, seeing to people's orders and generally looking quite harassed. Take my time, gathering the things I need. Okay, so they have a monster hunting pack, they have a set of pittons. Okay. So they have a gambling set here, right here, and for some reason a large magnet. While it would be kind of funny to just have a magnet for no reason, the gambling set, that's a special thing in Sora's heart, so she's gonna buy herself a gambling set. I wonder what type of gambling set she's gonna have going on. Is it like cards? Is it dice? She'll cheat at either. I'm just looking up the PHB. I have the book. I don't know why I'm looking it up. One sec. Jeez, I leave for a second and I come back to fighting words. I have never once cheated with my dice. Them's are fighting words, Raven. I forgive you, but next time we fight. Okay, so I basically need to just get like a whole new explorer's pack because I don't have anything of anything. So that's 10 gold.
You didn't say the magic word.
Please!
As I was saying before my mic decided, no, you're not allowed to say it, I actually have 1,300 gold. I think the knights were hoping I'd do it out of the goodness of my heart, but they also didn't want to count on that, so they gave me 300 gold. No, not 300, 800 gold. And I had 500 gold from the previous adventure, so now I have 1,300 gold. So I might as well get myself some goodies. I also don't have any clothes, but the explorer's pack includes that, so I'm not going to bother with that. I will get a climber's kit, because why not? And guys, I am not figuring out encumbrance, so just so we're all good and we're all clear, I hate encumbrance. It's like one of the rules, like when I first started playing in D&D, I just and started DMing, I just immediately right off the bat said, don't worry about encumbrance. Like don't take the piss, but I'm not going to force anyone to like manage encumbrance. It's a fantasy game. We want to act like that we could actually do these things. For the gigs, we'll get 2 healing potions. 2 more healing potions because you can never have too many, especially as a monk. I do have some healing capabilities as Way of Mercy. Rules as written, I don't know if Way of Mercy's monks can apply their healing ability to themselves. Like, that's not why Sora learned how to be a Way of Mercy monk, but it would have been a very big bonus. Oh, we have a new follower. Thank you. Guys, 4 away from having my goal again. Cinderin. Cinderin? Did I do it? Did I say it right? Cinderin? I'm not dyslexic. I'm just bad at reading. Great. I don't know if anyone could register the fear that went in my face. Because it was like, I don't know if your pronunciation guide helped, but it did, and that, thank you. Oh, I'm gonna go to the weapons store. I enter the large and spacious shop named Sword in the Forge, and are immediately struck by the peaceful atmosphere. Something I've never encountered before in a weapons store. A dark-skinned young man holding a cat walks between customers, checking that their needs are taken care of, and a young woman who could easily be his twin paces lightly around, bringing customers their orders and engaging them in polite conversation. I pledge my staff to these people. They have a cat. I start perusing the wares and are struck by their high quality. The selection is vast and the workmanship is outstanding. See anything that takes your fancy? The young woman asks, coming near. I'm Killian. I part own this place. It's run as a cooperative of weaponsmiths, bowers, and finesmiths. There's dwarven work here, elvish and human, all sorts. I notice Killian talks with a thick accent and sounds nothing like the locals. I get those vibes. Oh, I'm from Vasa, she says with a smile, as if reading my thoughts. My father moved us here some years ago. There's not much going on up there's ways, and not these days anyway. Just strife. 1,000-year stare. I nod appreciatively. Could you show me through your stock? I ask politely. Sword in the Forge is an exceptionally well-stocked weapons shop. Browse the list below and purchase what I'd like. I will. 40 got quarterstaff, flail. Dang, I was really hoping I'd see a dart. Hoping to see some ranged weapons, because that's what I really want and need. Everything else is kind of secondary. There's a longbow, but I can't... Nope. Cannot use a longbow as far as I'm aware. Could maybe use a hand crossbow. I shall consult the tome. Personality and background. I don't care about personality. I care about looks. I'm sorry, I'll never do that again. I'm gonna have to get some, like, waiting music. Not music, muzak. Specifically muzak. So we can all just wait awkwardly together. Because that's what muzak's for, right? It's literally just... You know, you all ended up in this weird little enclosed space together, and now we all suffer through the muzak. That was what I was concerned about. I can't... Seems like I can't use a hand crossbow. I was really hoping I could get myself a nice little hand crossbow. That is a bummer. And I actually can't use a longbow. No, monks... I have two weapons proficiencies. Simple weapons and short swords. I have a +1 short sword, quarterstaff. Oh, I could throw a spear. Or a hand axe. That is a good idea. I do like that idea. Sure, why not? I'll buy... They're only 5 gold. Let's get 4. 20 gold. As I am searching through and choosing my purchases, Killian leans in and says quietly, "You look like someone who knows their weapons. Would you like to have a look at what we have out back? There's a few special items." She gives me a coy little wink. Killian, stop. You are working, miss. I'm good though, but I will come into the back just because I am curious now about what you may have. Killian quietly leads me behind the counter and into a small room behind the main shop, which is cool and quiet. I'm not ready. It's been a while, but I'm not ready. In here are crates, some unpacked, and a selection of weapons and other things laid out on a table. Killian first shows me a simple, unassuming arrow. An arrow of undead slaying. She says, all business now. Any undead creature, ghoul, vampire, zombie, this will down them. If not completely, then almost. She gently sets it down and then proceeds to the next item. An ornate longsword. Immediately bored again. This sword belonged to Zentar's nephew, it is said. He was gifted it by a mage from Melvont, but he never knew how to use it. It's been in our possession for many years. Perhaps the price is what scares people off. Killian then carefully picks up a long, vicious-looking dagger. She flipped it around to show you the chamber, a little chamber in the underside. A little flick of this catch here causes poison to run down the blade. It's equipped with 2 doses of angel's tears. After that, you'll need to refill it yourself. And this, Killian says, indicating a small sword, belonged to a halfling famous in the area, Rune Blackwood. Finally, Killian shows you a small bottle. Oil of sharpness, distilled by my father before he died. Will make your blade keener than any sword in the land for 1 hour. Then she lays out the prices for you. I think that's actually the angel's tears. Just the telling of these prices. 400 gold. Oh my god. Oh wow, these are all super expensive. But I have to say, having an arrow of undead slaying when there is an undead knight coming after me is potentially a very good deal. I would have to buy a short bow, but I'm willing to buy a short bow. I'm honestly, I'm just destroying the economy of this town. As every good adventurer should. I was about to say I could buy Rune Blackwood's sword, but then I realized I'm actually short. Especially now. Because I've been spending with reckless abandon. But what if I find an old man out in the wilderness? Will I be able to buy things from him? Because I have spent at least 500 gold at this. Yeah, none of the other things are particularly interesting to me. The poison dagger, not really my style. It's also 700 gold. No, I'm happy with my arrow of undead slaying. I'm happy in my paranoia, thank you. I'm done shopping. Let's go to the map. Oh, I must have passed that green dot. So, for anyone who wasn't here before, so whenever I pass a green dot, I have to roll on a random table to potentially die, maybe? Thanks, Sindrin. Yeah, we got this. This'll be fine. That's a 2. I'm It's fine. It's fine. I make my way through the narrow streets of Zhentil Keep, on my way to my next destination. Suddenly, I hear a cry of alarm coming from ahead. I run towards a sound which seems to be coming from the next street over. Ducking down an alleyway, I emerge in a smaller lane that runs through the center of the city block. The cries are coming from up ahead, and now I am close enough that I can make out the words. Help! I'm being attacked! Help, someone please! I come to a stop at an alleyway entrance. Halfway down, a large, rat-like humanoid stabs at a cowering old man with a dagger and gnashes at him with long menacing teeth that drip with saliva. At the other end of the alley, a Zhentilar soldier, sword drawn, watches the whole thing. They very handily provided us with this picture. So here's this man getting murked, and here's that man watching the whole thing happen and doing nothing. The best case scenario is that this man, fight or flight response. He's just frozen in place and he can't, that's a very generous read. But the bad read is that he knows the rat man and is helping him by keeping people away. How many hit points? Oh my god, I never got a long rest. But I did get a short rest, so all my key points are back. I know I'm going to fight the rat. I know I'm going to fight him. I am going to shout at the soldier. It does seem weird that this soldier is not helping. Hey! I shout. What are you doing? You are an actual guard. You're meant to help this man. What are you doing? And get in the way of those teeth. The Zhentilar scoff. No chance. The old man continues to plead with both of us. Yes. Guys, it's time to roll for initiative. And I'm gonna go. I don't have a sword. I have a +1 quarterstaff. Because I found it in a cave. I'll find a sword and I'll draw it. I'll find someone else's sword. I move forward to fight the rat creature and save the old man. I don't like how it's called a dire rat overlord. That seems bad. Delusions of grandeur. Yeah. Got 8. And the dire rat overlord got a 10. So anyone who hasn't seen this before, they do provide maps and stuff. Most of the time, I use them for reference. I'm mostly theater of the minding it. I'm theater of the minding with a helpful map guide. Oh, he hasn't noticed me yet. So basically, they're letting me have a surprise round. That's nice. That's nice. I get it on the die. So that's 13 plus 4. Hey, Evin. I know. It's my turn now. See, I was the one who traumatized you with the rats. So now this is the return. So I pass my stealth, so I can sneak up, take my 30 feet of movement, and roll with advantage. Guys, we must now bless the dice. Dice Christ, give us the nat 20. Come on, let's go. I mean, it's not a nat 20, but it's still pretty good. 17 plus 6. I mean, his armor class is 13, so that hits. I'ma slap him around a bunch, spend a key point. I was going to do a hand of harm, but then I realized I would have to give up 2 key points. Let's just see how this attack goes. Flurry of blows. Oh, bless dice Christ. Nat 20. Yes! All 3 of those are going to hit. So I've got 3d4 plus 1d6 plus 18 to do. 21, 22, 23. I've done over 24 points of damage to this guy right off the bat. Praise dice Christ. You gotta give praise whenever he gives you the good hits like that. The rat's down. This is what you guys see. I stride down. On my way, I take my staff. I crack hit the Overlord in the head, and then 2 very solid kicks to the head makes sure he stays down. I continue walking towards the guard, spinning my staff. You were too worried about the teeth. With one final attack, I slay the rat-like creature. It drops to the ground, and immediately, as if from nowhere, oh my god, horrifying, hundreds of rats appear and begin devouring the carcass. Shuddering with disgust, I turn and see the old man, cowering against the wall of the alley. I do say my badass line, but then I remember there's an old man. Quickly, I go to him. Thank you, he breathes, beside himself with gratitude. Why was it attacking you? I say. I'm a maker of dire rat traps. My son sells them at the market. They're intelligent creatures, those rats. He must have been lying here in wait for me. I don't know how to thank you. I have a little money here. The old man passes me a small whistle hung on a cord around his neck. Take it. If you are ever in a situation where you're surrounded by rats, blow on this thing. They can't stand the sound of it. Not that big one, though. Didn't seem to affect that thing. Nodding, I accept the gift. He's like, in her head, she's like, this is not the time to say this is a very oddly specific situation to be in. I accept the gift, although I am not sure how effective it would be. And I help the old man up. I guess I have a rat whistle now. I swear to God, it comes back up. Once I am sure he is all right, I turn and I look for the guard. But that slimy little bastard is gone. That's where I'm going to end the session. Yeah, very, very, very old school D&D. When I first started, my DM, like, he wanted to take a break from our campaign, so we played an OSR game, and it was insane. Like, we took 2 steps into a cave, and there were so many magic items in there for no reason. We just became very overpowered in the first 5 minutes. And there was, I can't even remember who the big bad of this particular one-shot was. Very similar to the Rat Lord, where he was all talk, no bite. Nailed it. That is the end of the session. I'm going to be very strict on myself from now on and only do about hour and a half, an hour and 3/4. Yeah, just because I get quite tired. I have certain things that make me very tired very quickly. And while I love doing this, I've learned I really need to pace myself. To address that, I've decided I'm going to try and not run too much over time. But sometimes I just have too much fun. Like today. I appreciate you guys being very understanding. And Raven, welcome back. It's been a while since I've seen you on the stream. I've missed you. I've missed your energy. You have like such a good energy on stream. You're so hyped up and I love it. Sindarin, thank you for following and welcome to the Madhouse. I hope to see you here more often. We do have a cupcake queen. I don't think she's here tonight. Maybe one day we will have cupcakes. If you guys want, I am on Instagram. That is the best way to keep up with me. I am also on Twitter. I'm on it, but I'm not particularly active on it. I think last time I looked on it, I had like 2 followers. Where else am I? I'm also on Facebook. I have a Facebook page. It's all under the dreaded DM. Like, there are links in the chat if anybody wants to check those out. I do have a small announcement. I am going to be playing with the lovely, lovely folks over at Advanced Dungeons and Intermediate Dragons. They've asked me to come back and do another stream with them. Well, we're going to be playing some ridiculously overpowered characters. Truly out of this world. We are hoping to stream on the 9th. I don't have a firm time yet, but the 9th for sure. It's going to be a lot of fun. And hopefully closer to the time, I'll be able to give a few more details. There is a chance I may be changing the day I stream. I haven't fully decided yet whether I'm changing the day or if I'm just going to start streaming a little bit earlier. Yes, that's what's up at the moment. Thank you so much. Your energy is so great. Like, this is so, I'm so flattered. You make me blush. For anyone who's new and for Raven, who seems to crave more, I am going to be uploading the previous 2 streams. They are completely finished. They just need to be uploaded. Check out my VOD channel. It is called The Dreaded VODs, VODs. It is in desperate need of views and subscribers. Go check them out. The first 3 are super long, but the 2 I'm about to upload, I have edited them down as much as I can. I am going to be doing highlights on my main YouTube channel as well. That is also just the Dreaded DM. There's nothing on it because I wanted to make sure I had the VOD channel up to date first, which I now do. So keep an eye out on my main channel and on my VOD channel for new stuff. It's going to be exciting times. Let's raid. This is always like the awkward part of streaming for me because like you're done, right? But you're still kind of in like that awkward phase of like you're still with people. It's very strange. I find it quite difficult to get used to. Here we go. So I was just trying to find another Dungeons and Dragons peep. Their name is CJ Some Days. Oh, that's a great name actually. I like that name. So we are going to be raiding CJ Some Days. Once again, guys, thank you so much for coming around. I really appreciate y'all. Appreciate y'all faces. I will see you all next week. Same time, same place. 7:30 Fridays on the Dreaded DM channel. Thank you so much, guys. And now, once again, we are going to sit in awkward silence as the raid gets ready to start. Do, 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 do. Enjoy the music. Thanks, guys. Have a good evening.
Farewell, adventurer. I fear one day we will meet again.